Where tonight's the night. Come. Oh, there it is. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Ripple Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harper, and yes, I am in a tie. Well, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're actually not seeing me in a tie. You're just hearing me describe that I'm wearing a tie, which is very unusual for me because I don't like wearing a tie. I also very rarely like wearing pants, but I'm doing that as well. I've got official dress shoes and socks, although I will say my socks had to be stormtroopers. Just had to be. I've got a conference event that I'm speaking at today. This is the first conference that I'm speaking at since the pandemic, really. A lot of events that we had planned for 2020 got canceled outright. Things are coming back as more people get vaccinated and events are coming back into play. So it's kind of interesting to see all this new movement and this new activity. But today I'm speaking for an event that's near and dear to my heart. Miravis is an organization that supports transitioning military and their spouses to help them get jobs in the tech field. And I've been a big supporter of theirs for the last several years. They're having their first official online conference today. I am so grateful that they asked me to be a part of it. I'm going to be a part of a fireside chat with a good friend of mine, Roger Miranda, who is going to interview me about the power of networking and the importance of doing it the Ripple way, if you will. So I'm super pumped and excited. And I thought I'd just show up with a little panache, a little class, kind of first event back. Gotta get the old dress shirt out and tie and, kind of doll up a little bit. I mean, if you're watching this on the video, clearly can't do much with the face, but at the end of the day, I just want to project a professional looking me, right? It's a good ripple to have out there. But I got to thinking, which is why I decided to push record today for my podcast, which is how you get back on the horse on the things that you were accustomed to doing, but you've now been on a pregnant pause for, in most cases, for well over a year now. And I really actually at one point during the pandemic wondered if I even wanted to continue to be a speaker, whether I had any value of any kind that I could bring to the table, or if I ought to just like sunset that off into the I don't know, off into the sunset. It takes a lot to be a professional speaker. It takes a lot to get amped up for these things and to, get your content collected and organized in a way that makes sense so that you can communicate a message that doesn't have the audience going, because that's no good, right? And fortunately, I've never had anybody in my audience fall asleep. Well, not true. I did a training for the state one time, state of Texas, and there was a guy who was clearly hungover, fell asleep in my class, and we had a great little bit of fun at his expense for that. But I don't think I put him to sleep. I think it was the after effects of the alcohol, or at least that's what I would like to think that was the case. But at any rate, I was thinking about, how I had somewhat of a crisis of confidence about whether what I was doing out there in the world, the message that I had, whether that is the direction I want to go, or if I just want to continue to write or focus my efforts on doing videos and podcasts and maybe just forego the whole competitive speaking environment, right? I think I got down on it because I had several events that either canceled or were going to come back with an online format, but they weren't willing to pay for the time that I was going to put into presenting that I would have to their live event. They wanted to cut budgets and or in some cases just straight up ask you if you would speak for free. And I know I've covered this before, but you have to know your value, right? You have to understand the time and the commitment that it takes for someone like myself to put the effort into a presentation, especially if it's for a conference event. Today's a little different because it's a fireside chat. I have a basic idea of what we're going to be talking about, but it could go anywhere, right? And that I enjoy the most because they feel super authentic. Those environments and those engagements really feel really fun to participate in. And they're a little bit different than some talking head on a Zoom screen telling you about whatever it is they are telling you. But nevertheless, it takes a tremendous amount of time and effort to prepare your content, whether you're delivering it online or whether you're delivering it live. And when I had some of these events come back to me and say, basically, we're going to pay you this big money to come speak, you no longer had to travel. You no longer had the cost and expense of hosting an event like at a convention center or a hotel or wherever. And I recognize everybody was hit very significantly with the economic impact of the pandemic. So I don't take that away from any of these organizers, but I kind of felt like a few of them were trying to take advantage, and I got a little turned off on it, right? Left a bad taste in my mouth because, I would put just as much energy and just as much effort into an online presentation as I would if I was standing on stage somewhere. And quite honestly, from a cost perspective, my costs actually decrease for the organization because you're not paying for my hotel and my travel and incidentals, etc. Not that I'm one of those super diva keynote speakers. I promise you I am not that. I don't have a requirement to have a green room. I don't have a requirement to have only red M&Ms waiting for me in the green room. I don't have the need for someone to provide me high-end expensive water. I am the lowest maintenance speaker you could ever bring into your events. I know some that are not, and I cannot believe they get away with this diva-like behavior, but they do. And I just never, that's just not me, right? I'm just not that. I mean, this tie is not me, to be honest with you. When an event actually says, well, we need you in a business suit and we need you to put on a professional air, like it implies like I don't put on a professional air in my other events. I don't know what that means. I mean, I would do every keynote in shorts if I could. And maybe at some point I'm going to do my own conference and it's going to be no pants allowed, no pantalones, no pantalon. You must come in shorts. You can't come sans anything down below because that could get awkward. Be a very unusual conference, I would think. Probably a completely different type of genre than a business conference, if you think about it. But I digress. At the end of the day, it's a situation where I really started to kind of question, is this the direction I want to go? Is this what I want to be doing? And do I really want to be working with people that don't value what I bring to the table? I really had that crisis of confidence a few times during the pandemic over the last, let's call it the last year and 3 months, because that's what we're at. I don't know. At the end of the day, I have a message. I'm committed to that message. I know the difference it can make in a person's personal life, professional life. I know the difference that building authentic connections and thus better relationships can have on an organization, whether it be for employee engagement, whether it be for building better relationships with prospects who could turn into customers, or for those customers that you want to retain and keep long term. I know that I've got some ideas that can benefit organizations of any size in that regard. So I've got value. I've got something worth sharing. And so it also was equally disturbing, I guess, that I was there saying to myself, well, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. Maybe I should be like, not doing that. And I wonder what that was about, right? And as this event got put on my calendar, and I've got a few extras coming up for a few new ones coming up, as that started to materialize, this little flame got ignited. It's kind of like started to just little bit. He's a little light, not a lot of warmth, but a little bit. And then as we got closer, it got a little bigger and it got a little bigger. And now it's like full on inferno in my belly. Like, hey, look, you should not have had that crisis of confidence, Steve. You are better than that. You know better than that. And you need to pull your head out of the nether regions where, you are, sitting there going, oh, I don't know if I should do it anymore. And just, that's nonsense. Total nonsense, my friends. get back on that horse, start riding. So I have gotten excited about today and a couple of other things I got coming up later this summer. And as the opportunities start to flow in and they start to change. And I don't know why I'm talking like that. Why things are starting to get back to normal. I recognize now more than ever, especially because we've been distanced and now we're going to be back in environments where we may have not worked with people one on one. We've been kind of accustomed to, walking downstairs in our, I don't know, our bunny slippers and showing up on a Zoom meeting with just the top, but party on the bottom. Now we got to act responsibly. We have to go back and re-engage. We have to build those connections again with our coworkers and our teams. And of course, as we start to get out and, middle about and build our business, we've got to get out and be able to network there for that. We need to be able to talk to prospective customers. We need to go out and re-engage our existing customers. What we do here for the Ripple and the approach that I take, I think is, let's just be honest, I think it's more important than it ever has been. And so why am I sharing any of this? I don't know. I'm just saying that during the pandemic, I sort of got I wouldn't even say my feelings hurt. I would just say a little discouraged, which I think was pretty easy to have happen in the environment that we were facing, the situation as it were. And I wonder, for those of you that might hear this podcast or might see this video, did you experience the same? And as you're starting to kind of poke your head out of the turtle shell and you're starting to come back into the world and you're starting to crawl forward a little bit, kind of poking around, looking and saying, okay, what's different? What's going to happen? What do I need to do? How do I get things back to what they were? Are you struggling with that a little bit, getting back on that horse? Let's be honest. I don't think that things are ever going to get back to the way they were. I think they could be better. I think they could be vastly different, but better. It all comes with the approach and the attitude that we take, not only just as individuals, but as companies. How is it building relationships going to be a priority for us going forward? And for me to think that maybe I should hang up the old speaking, direction and maybe just focus on delivering my content in other areas. Just now, as I say it, seems absolutely ludicrous for me to even have considered it, but yet I did. It was a crisis of confidence. Would things ever come back? Would people ever value? And even to this day, people are, still reaching out and going, hey, we have this great event, but we have no budget. And we were wondering if you'd be willing to speak for free. Sure, man. I'm curious. Have you worked for a couple of weeks at your job doing what you do for free? Well, no. Why would you ask me to do it? Getting pretty committed to what I'm willing to put up with and what I'm not, who I want to work with and who I'm not, I think is pretty key to coming into and finding my clarity of purpose going forward. Getting back on the horse, getting excited, watching that flame turn into the inferno again. Wah! That's why I got a little orange, like a little burn thing going on behind my back. It's just been enlightening, and I'm reinvigorated. I'm ready to go. I'm curious about you. As things are coming back to normal for you, how are you going to do things differently? How are you going to approach your job or how you make a difference out there in the world? And was there ever a time where you were kind of questioning, anything relative to that path for you? And did you have that same, I don't know, call it turbulent, frustrated, sort of, I wouldn't say angry, but maybe disappointed / fear. I don't know. You fill in the blank for you, whatever. That right there. Whatever that was, are you coming out of it? Because I actually think maybe some of that could have been the COVID hangover, right? Could have been this whole, holy crap, our entire world's got turned upside down. We're questioning everything. We're concerned about everything and we're worried about everything. And so when you have all that stuff, that's like a big, big, huge thing that, just weighs on you. And maybe it's common practice for you to start having second thoughts or self-doubt, etc. for me, I am glad that I stuck with it. I'm glad that I agreed to say yes to this event and a few others. And I'm super glad that I didn't let that situation win. And so I'm going to get back on the horse. That doesn't even sound like a horse. That doesn't sound like a horse either. I'm going to get on and I'm going to go. Hi-oh, Silver. Away. Let's roll. I'm back, baby. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I am. Back to say, if you or your organization needs someone to come in and kind of light a fire under them, get them excited, motivated about connecting and in the importance of engagement in whatever environment you might be in, I'm your man. I am excited and ready to go. I just won't do it for free. I will be happy to work with you on a very affordable plan. We even have payment plan options that we'll be willing to take. I mean, the interest rate is pretty high, and we got a guy named Guido that is in our collections department, but don't fret. No fret, mon frere. We can make it work for you. I'm back. I'm excited. I'm ready, and today's going to be great, and I can't wait to go. So that was what was on my mind. That's what I'm sharing. I'm going to be back very, very soon with a really fantastic interview with someone that you are going to absolutely love and want to get to know. And, I will just continue to keep doing these things, hopefully getting you thinking about certain aspects of your life, your presence in it, your ability to make a difference, your willingness to build better, more authentic relationships. That's my bag right here. That's what I do. And I'm excited to see what the remainder of 2021 brings to us. So until next time, my friends, ripple on.